I'm Michaela Weaver from The Alcohol Coach, and today I'm here to talk with you about sustaining the changes that you want around alcohol. How many times have you tried to stop drinking or tried to moderate and found that you're able to do it for a while? And that while can actually be quite a long period of time. Maybe for you, it's been a few days, or maybe it's been weeks, maybe even months, and sometimes maybe even years. And then something happens and you find that you seem to just fall back into alcohol. And very, very quickly, you're at exactly the same point that you were before you made any change. And sometimes we find that we're even further into it than we were before. That can be very disheartening. It can be very concerning. And it can be very confusing. So I'm here today to talk to you about some of those things. And if some of these things that I'm sharing with you resonate for you, I'm going to give you some tips and ideas about what you can do to sustain the changes that you want to have in your life. So life when alcohol has us in its grip, to whatever capacity. For you, it might be a couple of glasses of wine every night that you'd rather not have. It might be 2 bottles of wine or equivalent every night that you would rather not have, or more or less. When it has us caught in that way, it is very disempowering. And it is also very confusing. And what we often find is that life is very dramatic. There are highs and there are lows, and they are, if we're not in a high, we're in a low, and vice versa. And all we find that we really want is some peace and some calm. Where alcohol is in the driving seat to the extent that I've suggested, we've built our house on sand, and there really are no foundations at all. And the success in sustainability, therefore, is having really strong foundations underpinning your building of life. And what that means is that if one of those foundations, or I call it the pillars of sustainability, if one of those pillars gets knocked a little bit, you have enough to hold you up. Whereas the alcohol life and world is built on sand, and the sands are shifting without any control from us and without any ability to actually hold that building up and hold it steady. It's like captaining a ship through a stormy ocean. And on top of that, without having the captaining skills to really navigate that ship safely across the ocean of your life and effectively. So you may find that you've been able to stop drinking for a while, and a certain number of different things have been true for you. You may find that every day without alcohol is a struggle. You may find that you're counting the days, and each day feels like a huge achievement. And if that is true for you, then it is an achievement. But the truth is that it needn't be a struggle. It should be something that, sure, be grateful for, but not something that feels like hard work. If you're in a situation where that is true for you, then what would have happened is that you would have changed your behavior, but not adequately changed the thinking and the emotional connection to alcohol, and therefore the relationship with alcohol at a deep level wouldn't have really changed. And so what happens in that situation, as a way of explanation, is that we're still psychologically addicted. So we're not doing it, but we want to do it, which means that the psychological aspect of addiction, and I use the term addiction very loosely, if that makes you feel, oh my goodness, can't be addicted. Well, what addiction means in this sense is that if you find yourself doing something that is harming you in any way, or the relationships in your life in any way, and you really wish you weren't doing it either at all or to the extent that you find yourself doing it, then that is addiction. That is what it is. We don't have to wait until we find ourselves on a park bench drinking meths out of a paper bag before we recognize the fact that actually we are caught in a situation that we don't want to be in and we'd really rather get out. And so being able to stop for a period of time can sometimes be an excuse. I speak to women on the phone. I've coached thousands of women out of the alcohol trap to a place of freedom. And occasionally I have women on the phone who say, well, I've been able to stop for a couple of months. And underlying that is, so therefore I don't have a real problem. To which I say, and why are we having this conversation? And so it is good if you can stop for a period of time. But if you find yourself falling back in, then that is not freedom. That is still caught in the trap, albeit a different kind of a trap. So what you might find is that you're cruising along and things actually seem fine. You've not got alcohol in your life. You're feeling really good about that. Maybe you even feel free. And then something will happen in your circumstances, in your environment. And it could be a big thing. It could be something as big as a bereavement. It could be a divorce. It could be a pandemic. It could be a change of work, a change of relationship, a change of anything. And because that house is built on sand, it starts to tilt, it starts to buckle. And before you've even known what's happened, you find yourself reaching for a glass. And isn't that a confusing place to be? It's like, what happened? What is wrong with me? What did I do wrong? And you haven't done anything wrong. The house was built on sand. And we need pillars of sustainability so that no matter what happens, you know that you're solid and nothing can ever shake that. You may find that you've stopped drinking and you just feel emotionally raw and you don't really know where to go or what to do with those feelings. And that is a very real recognition, which is great. Recognizing is always a huge part of the solution to any issue along this journey. And if you feel that your emotions are raw, the reason for that will be because alcohol was there to deal with life, even if you didn't think of it that way. And now with it gone, for the first time in maybe decades, those emotions are there and we become aware of them and we may feel them. And that is okay. That is okay. And so one of the pillars or many of the pillars of sustainability are built around learning new and healthy and refreshing and exciting ways to deal with emotion, to deal with thinking, to become master of our own minds, which is where we live after all. You may feel that navigating the world without alcohol is challenging because you feel like you're missing out. You feel like everybody else has got something that you want but don't want. And there's that conflict. There's this dissonance or disagreement. And our brains are pre-programmed to always want to seek harmony. And so whilst that war is raging, even if it's a lesser war than it was on the daily basis when you found yourself drinking every day, that war raging is unsettling. And that causes more emotion, which is then we're left with an internal storm, even though alcohol may have gone. And so there's a process of adjustment so that true freedom, which is inside the social secret, means that everything in life is better. Everything's had an upgrade, an uplift. The volume is crisper, clearer. The vision is brighter. Life is more colorful. That is the goal here. And underlying it all, everything is more peaceful. There is no drama. When sustainability is embedded into life, and even the word sustain can go out of the window, because there is nothing to sustain anymore. It just is. Life has transformed. Life has changed. Everything is there for you. So sustainability means no thing can move you, wobble you, or knock you off your feet because you have that stability. No emotions, no thoughts can rattle you and cause drama in your life to the extent that they used to before. So stopping drinking is just the beginning. The expansion of your life into ways and means and things and places and people and experiences that you could not have imagined before. That is the true joy of moving away from something that causes misery to self and others. The true joy is not the focus on the stopping, the giving up, the thing. That is but a grain of sand on the whole beach of life. It is everything that comes with that change that we can initially call sustainability, that is the true freedom. And that is the prize. That is the gold. That is what we're really, really aiming for here. And so that we feel amazing. We feel authentic. There is no fear of this anymore. And fear is paralyzing and keeps us trapped as well. Even if we're feeling that we're out and we're not drinking, ask yourself, is there fear or is there peace? And if you know in your heart that there is peace, that emotions can come and go and thoughts can come and go, and that is just sustained, then that is the freedom that I invite you to seek and then attain. I'm Michaela Weaver. Thank you for listening. See you very soon.